So welcome everybody to this amazing day here at Synergy Worldwide and here in our great country. It's a special day. It is September 11th, and we just want to acknowledge all the people that were involved with September 11th, whether you were at ground zero or had loved ones, friends, relatives, or just experienced the day. We just want to take just a moment and acknowledge you and all of us for what our country has gone through and what it is going through now. So we honor all of those who have fallen and bless all of us who are carrying on and making this world a better place.
Thank you, Judy. That's kind of you to remember that. My oldest son, Gabriel, was going to performing arts school in New York, in Manhattan at this time, 9/11. And he just happened to be home for a few days in Montana with us, was not there when those towers were bombed, but had so many of his friends and the folks he worked with in New York. It was a trying time for him as well. And we've since had an opportunity to go there. I've been to Ground Zero, and the world's a crazy place, right?
That's for sure. That's for sure. A different kind of crazy all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this is an interesting chapter in this path of prosperity. I don't know what the deal is this morning. I don't know if it's my computer that I have a problem with or just my mindset. I've been in the process of building a house for my sister, and 2 days ago I managed to shoot myself in my left hand with a 16-penny nail air gun, and I got it right into that spot where I just had surgery on that hand. So I have to. They gave me some medicine to take, and I hate medicine anyway. And I think it's kind of affected my brain a little bit. I'm just not thinking straight, but it's all right. I'll be fine. But just move right along. Right?
Well, you know, that's such an interesting thing that you just said, because this quote from Bob Kiyosaki, right at the beginning of this chapter, the single most powerful asset we have is our mind. If trained well, we can create enormous wealth. And it's so true. It's so true. When your brain is not at its best, it's hard to make those great judgments and those great decisions.
Well, it just is, yeah. And I think all of us, from time to time, feel sharper than other times. Sometimes there's absolute clarity of thought in the world that we live in. Sometimes there isn't. But Robert Kiyosaki is a remarkable guy. This is the rich dad, poor dad guy. And I listened to a little video that he made several years ago about his concerns in our country. And he said, you need to stock up on groceries. That's what he was saying in this interest. It's been several years ago, but I just thought how interesting that was. But boy, when Robert Kiyosaki speaks, people listen. They listen. And so that's what we want to talk about today in this vision as we try to build our Synergy business. The whole purpose of this path to prosperity is to help us to prepare our minds, prepare ourselves to be able to do well. I took note, Judy, that August was one of the best months that I've had this year as far as my sales are concerned, and new customer sales, etc. And I wasn't really expecting that, but that's what happened in August. And that helps me to achieve my goals and to get where I need to get. I will contend every day that profit is better than wages. It just simply is. You sell one jumbo or box, and if you've met your 150 CV minimum for the month, that's a profit of $42.50. And that's a good profit. You stop and think about it. It's really awesome. Now, that said, Judy, and I don't mean to dominate here, but I called in an order yesterday for another new customer. There are no more jumbos right now. Were you aware of that?
Wow. No, I was not.
Yeah. They're substituting 6 boxes of single serves for $235. but you don't get the other box for $5. And they're out of jumbos for the next couple of weeks at least. So I was taken back, but I've never heard of that. I've been with Synergy a long time. I don't know, Dan, have you ever run into that before, Dan? I certainly haven't.
Maybe it has to do with calling in, because I just ordered online the jumbos and I got them without any problems. The issue, my understanding is the issue is they're out of lids. And so it's a lid problem. It's not a Pro Arts 9 Plus problem. So we'll see. It's, there's a lot of supply chain issues because of what's gone on with COVID-19 and us being dependent upon other people to produce our products, and well, not so much products, because we do this in Spanish Fork, Utah, but to other countries producing the other things like the plastics that go into completing the supply chain.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what came to my mind when I chatted with the customer service representative. Excuse me, I thought, I bet it's that. I'll bet it's something that has to do with containers. So just interesting. Anyway, Judy?
Well, interesting. And not to belabor this point, but calling in and ordering online, what a difference. And according to Josh McKell, in a conversation we had a couple weeks ago, that 80% of the orders going into Synergy Worldwide are called in to the company. 80%. So, and that's about to change, and we're going to actually talk about that in a couple weeks.
Right.
But back into mindset. It really is about mindset, and for me, it's thinking positive. I know when you said, "Oh my gosh, we need to get 6 boxes of single serves." Oh my God, how many customers that I have that I'm thinking of would love 6 boxes of single serves rather than a jumbo, because they travel and they just like the convenience of those sticks. So really, mindset has a lot to do with how we perceive things. And today we're actually going to talk about your money story. And this can be a really tough subject, isn't that right, Bob?
Well, it is. It's a challenge for all of us, and everyone that's on this call perceives their synergy business a little bit differently. That's just human nature. We're all different, right? And that's good. That's how it's supposed to be. Some people are just looking for just a little bit of extra income at the end of the month. Some people really want to build a business, whatever the case may be. But we all kind of approach Synergy Worldwide and a home-based business market from a personal perspective. And I know I certainly do. When I started with Synergy Worldwide, to be honest, I was a little dubious about network marketing. I just been approached by one too many organizations and wanted me to join them. And I struggled with it a little bit until I came to understand the value of that particular business format of network marketing, Judy. So it's kind of different for all of us. I was wondering, I wanted to is it okay with you if I read through a couple of these money story quotes that they've got in the handbook here?
Absolutely. And we've got some of them here on the screen too.
Yeah, there we go. I wanted to read this first one because I thought about it on a personal level. It says, maybe you grew up in humble circumstances and were taught that you don't need much money. Maybe that story taught you humility and gratitude, but it also taught you about settling and never striving for more than you already have. Maybe you grew up in humble circumstances with a family money story that rich people were somehow bad or unkind. You hear that a lot in the world that we live in. Maybe you're taught that people with money have their priorities out of whack, that if you care too much about money, you'll become selfish, rude, and worldly. And I don't know whether any of us run into that sort of thing, but my life experience has taught me that money doesn't bring out the worst in people. That's really not the case. It brings out who you really are. That's for sure. Maybe you grew up in a wealthy family, and while you never had a single want or care in the world, you also saw some of the negative sides of affluence. we see that today in the world that we live in. Maybe you set off to do things on your own instead of having everything handed to you. Maybe you had something to prove, or grew up without money and married into it, or whatever. But they're conflicting stories for all of us. But what is our money story? So, Judy, just sharing those thoughts. Let's talk. What, me worry? Here's a little magazine. Where did you find that picture?
I know. I just love creating these PowerPoints because I get to play. So right. And I don't know about anyone else on this webinar or who's listening today, but I tell you, that was a big part for me for not only growing up, but starting to live, as an adult. I worried about money. I worried about money constantly, it seemed. Am I going to have enough just to make it through the end of the week? Can I get the food on the table that I need, or do the things that I want to do with the money that I am making? Am I making enough? Am I being a good conservator of the money? It was very worrisome to me. I don't know about you, Bob.
Well, in 1973, Bonnie and I got married in November 1973, and I swear to you, Judy, she married me for my money. I had $700 in the bank, and she found out about it, and she just grabbed me right up.
That was it.
Yeah. Well, it's true, and all of us come from a different place. I didn't finish college. I went into the trades. That's what I wanted to do when I was younger. I worked in a cabinet shop. I made $400 a month at the cabinet shop and loved every minute of every day. But talk about, it could get pretty tight, Judy. Pretty tight.
It could get pretty tight. And, I remember buying, I think my third house, where my mortgage, actually, I tried to figure it out, and it went up 7 times the one of the previous mortgage. And I signed the papers and went, what are we doing?
Yeah.
The bank says we can afford it, but oh my gosh, what are we doing? And of course, I never missed a mortgage payment. I'm now mortgage free, which is awesome, and was able to do more because I really changed my mindset. But some of these things on this page that it talks about is I save every extra penny I make. So I don't know about anyone else. That was me. And the money burns a hole in my pocket. That's my husband, Jeff. So, we have a very interesting view about money. We balance each other out perfectly because I want to save it and he wants to spend it. So,
I guess that's, we're supposed to be different, men and women, right? We're supposed to be different. That's what adds spice and flavor to marriage. So, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. And, I think the second part of this, how do you feel about those things, Judy? Let's talk about that. Having a money conversation with family or friends. How does everybody else on this call feel about that sort of thing?
You'll have to unmute your mics. Please unmute your mics.
Yeah, we want to hear from everyone on this. Because talking about money is a big deal. It's just like I say when I'm talking to someone about Pro Argentine Plus, I want to get the elephant out of the room right away. This is how much it costs. Let's talk about that, get that out there. But it's good, I think, for all of us to have a little conversation about how do we do, because we're looking here for that prosperity mindset. And we all struggle a little bit with some of these ideas. So if anybody wants to jump in here and share with us, Judy and I would love that if we could get a little conversation going here.
Right. And it's not about being right or wrong, because everyone's experience is different. And so there's just the difference. And sometimes it really helps for us to see people that are the same as us, but also to see people that are different than us so that we can look at things from a different point of view.
That's exactly right. David's on the phone with us. David, I remember you saying one time something about a Mustang car, but and your wife.
Yes. One of the things I've always wanted, Bob, especially before joining Synergy, was to be able to do something that was in my passion. And of course, while you were in a corporate environment, you're surrounded by four walls, and you're really dependent on following the goals and the dreams of whatever organization you're working for. You're really working towards their dreams and goals. But I always wanted to work towards my own. And it wasn't until I joined Synergy, even while still in a corporate world, that I saw the possibilities of creating your own business and seeing it grow and getting what I call extra income. Some people call it residual, and there's other names for it, but certainly income that's coming in by simply following something you love to do. And that's where I was able to show my wife the power of the residual income or earnings, extra earnings, by putting her in my organization, seeing her get credit for many of the sales that were coming through, and of course, helping her fulfill her dreams, which is buying a new Mustang or having her residual income pay for the Mustang. So it was like a dream come true. So that's my take on the Mustang. If I may say one more thing, Bob, as you know, I work in the financial world for a very long. And one of the things I kept sharing with my clients, especially the ones that come in that overdrew their accounts in the bank and they were going through financial crisis, I always say, remember, this is just a point in time of your life, a season you're going through. If you think you're poor, just know that it is only a season. It's only being poor is not a condition, it's a mindset. And what you have to do is just establish a plan of action to see yourself in a better financial situation. Let's work together so that we can get you there. So it's the people that are worried now really don't need to worry, and it's easier said than done. But certainly they don't need to worry, because poverty is just what I call a temporary situation, unless you allow it to overpower you. If you become a victim, it's a problem. But if it's only a temporary mindset and you can see yourself transitioning to a better financial status and creating a plan of action to get there, then certainly that season will be behind you, and you can now really look forward to better days and realize it. So that's kind of my take.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. I thought about, as you were sharing your thought, I've got a friend, Tom and Christy, that they're good friends of ours up here. And Tom was telling me that it's been several years ago, but there was a point in time where he and Christy, and they had raised their children. The children were all out of the house, and they were in their late 40s. Tom said there was a point there where we had $12. That's it. They had nothing in savings. They had no assets. They had $12. That kind of worry, Judy, isn't that the kind of thing that would just almost turn you inside out? And yet those two managed to turn that all around. Things are going great. They've got a beautiful Victorian home now, but those kinds of things happen to us in this life, where temporarily, as David just said, those are the things that happen. I'm a firm believer in finding multiple sources of income. Synergy Worldwide provides that. I raised 5 children in Montana, and wages are not great in Montana. I had owned businesses. I did different things. But I was able to create some multiple income sources. I ended up getting some rentals, and I had my farm, and I had my job, got my Synergy business going, and multiple sources, multiple streams of income make a lot of difference. And anyway, Judy.
Well, and yes, that's so true, Bob. And one of the things that I think is interesting, the first part of this slide is how you feel about those conversation and sharing those goals with other family, close friends. That can be a really difficult thing to do. but having those conversations will make a difference and help you see things further, just like your friends shared that conversation with you. Not that you gave them any answers, but just speaking it aloud makes it real and makes it almost so you can hold it in your hand and then do something with it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Those kinds of conversations, though, can be very difficult, especially for men. Talking to your family or something. When Bonnie and I had been married for just a few years, I was working construction and things got really, really tight. We had some medical bills, and there was a point where my mom asked me, "Do you need some help?" And it was hard, and I said, "Well, if we could borrow $50 from you, and I'll pay you back just as quickly as I can." It's the only time Bonnie and I have been married for almost 48 years, so we've been married a long time. And this was a long time ago, but it was the only time in our married life that I asked that my mom offered and I accepted to borrow $50. It was a long time ago, but I'll tell you what, made me cry.
That's tough. That's tough. And it can create worry. And I would challenge everyone to look at these worry statements and really take a look at it. Get out your Path to Prosperity book and look at these. And if you don't have them, take a screenshot of these questions and really ask yourself these questions and these statements on this page to see where you stand with money. Because if you don't know where you stand, you can't go anywhere. And where you're going, it may not be where you want to go. So know where you stand.
Yeah, good counsel, Judy. Thank you. Well, now we've had this conversation.
Donald, did you want to say something?
Yes, thank you. I want to thank you for sharing this. I don't know how many people in the group has actually printed their book. I felt terrible the last time you produced and I didn't have a book. And I went on and bought one because working along on the screen didn't cut it for me. So I had to go out and get a book, and I've been working on my story ever since, so to speak. So sometime toward the end, I'll maybe share a little bit. But I just wanted to interrupt and find out how many people have actually printed their book who work for us.
Yes. That's really helpful, isn't it, Dom, to have it? I'm the same way, like with reading. I would prefer to have the book in my hand rather than using a device. When I have something sitting in front of me where I can make notes and jot things down, it makes a difference for me as well.
Absolutely.
Yes, because ink is more retentive than the mind, right?
Yeah. Well, I like to write. I like to do that. But we do have to rewrite our money story sometimes, Judy, and I think that's where we're trying to go with all of this, that, if we're going to have a prosperity mindset, we've got to be able to stop and maybe regroup just a little bit and take a look at things. I can tell you from 1 hour to the next exactly how much money I have and where I have it and what it's doing for me. And David, that's, the use of mutual funds and precious metals and things of that nature and property. And I've always contended that land is the last great wealth is ownership of land. But we sometimes do need to rewrite our money story, Judy. Go right ahead. I've jumped in there. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when we're talking mindset, it is mindset. And even sometimes we rewrite it without knowing it because our mind has just decided to make a difference. I remember worrying about money and deciding that I wasn't going to worry about it anymore. I was just going to fix it, and really never thought about it again until I came to the point with, where did I get all this money? How did this become so easy for me? And it was a matter of mindset. It was being able to actually create money coming into my life. I rewrote it and then even set it aside, and it still happened. Although I continued to do the actions, but I just didn't think about the money.
So Judy and Bob, can I jump in here for a second?
Yes, of course.
So we keep looking at our prosperity, and we keep looking at prosperity and equaling that to money. And that's not necessarily true. Certainly money helps you do a lot of different things, but there's a lot of ways that we can be prosperous in other things besides money. So since we're talking about mindset, maybe I'm different than other people, but my mindset has never been about money. I don't work for money. What I work for is opportunity. Opportunity will always provide you with value plus money. And so if people look to what opportunities do they have that they can maximize in their life, or what opportunities that they can do that will enrich their life, the rest of the stuff takes care of itself. Doesn't mean that there won't be some challenges and some hardships in the process, because anytime that you do an opportunity, there's a level of growth that has to go. You know, when you first start a new job or whatever it might be, new opportunity, there's a learning curve. And in that learning curve, there's challenges. And even after you've learned everything, there's still challenges. But, you know, the beauty of living in America is we're presented with opportunities all the time. We just have to be smart in the ones that we choose. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well, of course, thank you so much. And you really spoke to this next slide, right, Bob?
Exactly. Thank you, Dan. That's very well put. I talk a lot about holistic health, because good health to me is more than just, you know, my body working right. It's my mind and my soul and my relationships and all those kinds of things. And that same holistic health is a part of what you just said, this whole prosperity mindset. It's not just about what you've got in your pocket. It's about your life and your lifestyle and the peace of mind that you have at the end of the day because of how you live. All of those things come into play.
Yeah, so it really is looking at scarcity versus abundance. And really, what does that mean to each of us as an individual? Is it scarcity about money, or is it scarcity about other things in our life? And what is abundance to us? And I found this slide on the internet. Really, you can feel wealthy without having money. Money does, it does play a part, and an important part in our life, because we can't have transactions without money, but you can still feel prosperous without it.
Yeah, it's true, Judy. You know, my dad used to tease me. Bonnie and I raised 5 children in Western Montana, and a wonderful place to live. The Bitterroot Valley of Western Montana, gorgeous place. We had a wonderful life there. But the money side of things was always just a little bit tight. We wanted Bonnie to be an at-home mother with those kids of ours. Stay home, be home with the kids, and do all the things that you do so well at home, so we can launch these children right. And that was the decision that we made. But my dad used to tease me. He called me short pockets because I was so frugal with our finances. And he would tease me, old short pockets here. I had a scarcity mentality, but it was driven by necessity, I think, at that point in my life. It wasn't until I became familiar with Synergy Worldwide, and in particular John Hewlett, who taught me what an abundance mentality really looked like. That scarcity, you need to be careful and cautious with your finances, of course, but you can be abundant as well and change your mindset. And truly, John Hewlett taught me that principle, and I've appreciated that very much, Judy.
Absolutely. So what we're really wanting to give an assignment today. And that assignment really is to look at the insights that you have when it comes to money, prosperity, wealth, and scarcity versus abundance. Really look at what your life was, then look at what your life is, and then move ahead and what will your life look like when it comes to scarcity versus abundance. And once you have the awareness, then you have the ability to make those changes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think, are those action items on the next slide? Do I remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. When we talk about having an assignment for everyone today, I think everybody just take a minute, take a look at this screen. Choose the one or two prosperity mindset power statements that best describe the next chapter in your life. And we're talking about a little bit of introspection here. You know, I've said this a million times, but every real and searching effort at self-improvement is a lesson in humility. It just is. You stop and you look at what you're doing, where you're going, and like, oh gosh, I need to make an adjustment. There needs to be a little paradigm shift in the way I'm thinking or the way that I'm observing things. And once you can get your mind to that, to understand that, no, I need to adjust here a little bit. Make that statement, say that statement out loud, you know, keep that, in the forefront of your mind as you go forward. Just like Judy said, I determined I was going to stop worrying about this. I did stop worrying about it. Life kept going on. And anyway, go ahead, Judy.
Right. And so those power statements, to really say them aloud and, make them be part of your life on a regular basis. And you can do that not only by saying them aloud, but the next statement is to be able to keep a journal, or however you want to do it. My journal now, I'm more of on the computer kind of thing. Since I had my broken arm, it's hard for me to use pen and paper. It's even hard for me to type. So I say my things into my computer, and I keep it where I can look at it a lot on my, I can access it on my phone too. So being able to look at it and to reframe the ones that I think could be more positive.
Yeah. And the gratitude journal is, everyone is a little bit different here. You know, I've been journaling since I was 20 probably, or 19, something like that. I've got a ton of journals I've completed, but a gratitude journal is really, really nice. It, an ounce of gratitude is worth a ton of gold. And if you do the math on that, I don't know what the spot price of gold is today, but an ounce of gratitude worth a ton of gold. A ton of gold is worth a lot of money. It's just a mindset again, right? It's that mindset of abundance and gratitude and appreciation, and it's part of holistic health, right? Staying on top of things and being happy. So anyway, but Judy, that's all I had on my list to talk about this morning. Do we have anything else?
That's all we have. We are at the end. And thank you everyone for sticking with us for an extra 7-8 minutes or so as we got our stuff together today.
I've got to figure out what's wrong with my microphone. It's my computer. That's not my, I'm pretty good with a hammer, but I'm not great with a computer. I'm going to have to figure out what's wrong with my computer, but we'll get to it. But Donald wanted to share something. Donald, we have just a moment left here. Was there something you wanted to share further about your workbook?
Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thanks again. Not too deep, but I like the idea of the gratitude journal, which I've made a note of, and I would be making use of that. And hopefully I can address this more at the next webinar.
Sounds great.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Judy, thank you. I apologize again, everybody, for the slow start. Things happen.
If I may say one more thing, I couldn't get my computer started, so maybe that was a way of getting me to catch up with you guys, because I was 10 minutes into so thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anytime. We'll be late for you anytime, Donald.
Yeah, be glad to be late for you. All right. Thank you, Judy. Thanks, everybody. What do we got next week?
So next week, David and I will be talking about some of the Hispanic resources that are available to us, since they're supposed to launch the opening of Mexico on October the 1st. And then we're also going to be talking about the Pura Vida challenge. And this has been going on since the beginning of August. I've been with Synergy Worldwide. I've been on a lot of great trips with Synergy. There's always qualifications for those trips. Some people, in the past haven't seen themselves as being able to qualify for certain trips that Synergy has offered. This one here in the Pura Vida challenge, we're going to Puerto Rico. I'm not Puerto Rico, but we're going to Costa Rica. The place is absolutely outstanding, beautiful, and it's doable. It's 7,000 points. And so next Saturday, we're going to talk about that challenge. We're going to talk about how, the 4 categories for the points, and how this is really doable for a lot of people in Synergy Worldwide, whether you're new to Synergy Worldwide or whether you've been with Synergy Worldwide for a period of time. The point basis is based upon your TC1 volume, which is every customer order, that you talked about, Bob. Profit. Well, in addition to that $42.50 in profit, that person has 170 CV. Well, that's 170 points towards the 7,000 that you would need towards this challenge. So a lot of people, through your customers, through the things that you order, new distributors that you bring on board between now and the end of November, new customers that you bring into Synergy Worldwide, it just is a great opportunity for people to be able to win this challenge and be able to go to Costa Rica. You'll have to make sure that you have a valid a passport. And if you don't, you better get on it, because the government is kind of slow lately getting passports out. And then the last Saturday of this month, I hope to have Josh McCallum on with us for a live Zoom presentation of the changes to the website that's being made that will make it so much easier for people to order their products from Synergy Worldwide. So Bob, instead of this, either Bob or Judy, you talked about 80% of the people call into Synergy Worldwide. Well, in the new website design, that won't be needed. People will be able to easily go online, order their products without challenges, and in the checkout, and some of the things that Josh has already shown me. If for some reason Josh can't make it live, he already has done a presentation with me that was recorded, and I'll use the recording if I can't get Josh on live. I'd rather do it live with Josh. So he's supposed to be looking at his calendar to see if he can be with us on that last Saturday of September. So that's what we got coming up for the next 2 Saturdays.
That's great. So great. Okay, well, we're looking forward to it. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. I mean, Dan, excuse me. I know who you are. You know who you are. We're all good.
Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Hey, David, I just want to congratulate you. That's the best imitation of my voice that you've done in a long time.
All right.
I don't know if we touched on this before I got home, but today being 9/11, I just want to say how sorrowful it still is. So be good all.
Thank you, Donald.
Thank you, Donald. Yeah. Well, thanks, everybody. Judy, especially thanks to you. And God bless you all. I guess we'll just see you all again before you know it, right?
Absolutely.
Still love
Thank you.
that.